So this time of year, the big challenge is, how do I keep from gaining weight? I hear that daily. And it really is looking ahead, right? So there's 5 key things that we're going to touch on, what to do and what not to do. And the biggest thing it revolves around is food. Food and your schedule. Because this time of year, we have more time off than we typically do any other time of the year. And we typically eat in a way that we don't every other time of the year. Okay, so how do we keep from falling off the wagon is what it rolls down to, right? So think of it this way. It's the 90-10 rule. If 90% of the time you're doing things the way you should, I'm not worried about the other 10, right? Okay, so how many days are there in a year? 365. What's 10%? 36. We're coming up on January 1st. Pick 36 days out of the year, and I don't care what you do or what you eat. Right? So when it comes to Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, knock yourself out. New Year's Eve, have a good time. Easter, 4th of July, birthdays, weddings, have a good time. As long as you're doing things on the other 90%. So that's what really the difference is. And with Americans, we typically fly by the seat of our pants. We get up in the morning and we're hurried up, get in the shower. What's for breakfast? I don't know. What's fast? What's quick? Something grain, right? Bagels or toast or something grainish. Well, that turns to sugar. Instead of taking 10 minutes, cooking up some eggs and keep rolling. So the 2 things that I'm going to touch on tonight is what to eat or how often. And then the next big thing is just planning. It's just planning. So as you move towards the holidays, like tomorrow's not a holiday, so make sure you stay on track tomorrow. And Thursday's not a holiday, so make sure you stay on track tomorrow, Thursday, right? Because then when the holiday comes, now you got a green light instead of a red light. And I know it makes it sound easy, but we got a plan. So there's 5 essential things when it looks at living. One is your mindset, your nervous system, what you eat, oxygen, and minimizing the garbage. We call them the 5 essentials. This is stinking thinking. Guilt. Oh my God, I can't believe I ate that. Oh my God, my pants are tight. I just jumped up 10 pounds on the scale. By the time you get there, get over yourself, because it's already done. And start putting things together to make yourself better, right? A nutrition self-check. You value what you spend your time and your money on. What conversation did we just have in the lobby?
About the shoes.
About your shoes and about the bed you sleep on. Spend your money where it's going to give you the benefit of your life. So which is more important, your health or your career?
Your health.
Yes, because without your health, how are you going to have a career? Right? And I could go right down the list, couldn't I? Which is more important, your house, your health. Your car, your health. I even say this, there's only one thing that's more important than your health. One. Any thoughts? One thing, and I'm not going to give it to you.
Your mental health?
Kind of. Expand on that just a little bit.
Family?
Close. Your relationship with Christ.
Exactly.
That's more important than your health. So why did I put Christ first, your health second? Well, why did I put your health in front of your relationships, in front of your finances, in front of your career? Right? Why did I do that? Because without your health, how can I be the husband that I want to be? Right? How can I provide when I want to provide? Well, the answer is you probably can't. How can I be the father that I want to be if I don't have my health? How can I get the career that I want if I don't have my health? You see where I'm going? It just staggers right on down the list. So that's why you start your day, get up a half hour earlier from now on. Open up your Bible and read it. And one of my favorite verses is let your yes mean yes and your no mean no. Had this discussion with Jess today that came in. We were discussing a lot of the affairs that are going on in our country right now. And I said, what's your priority? It should be truth. Just speak the truth. She says, well, you got to be kind about it. Really? Kindness trumps truth? No, just speak it. Then it's up to us as adults to process it. Right? So it's the truth. So let your yes mean yes and your no mean no. Which is why when you plan your work and work your plan, like Jennifer, if you put it to paper, on Sundays if you write down, this is what I'm going to eat Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You wrote it down. You're not stressed about it. You're not sitting in front of a tray of cupcakes, right? You wrote down what you're going to eat, and then you simply do what you wrote down. Because then there's not an emotional attachment. You're just doing what you wrote down. Boom, boom. Get done. Get done. That's how you have success. That's how you have success. We have a seminar coming up in January, I believe, right? It's called Resolutions versus Revolution. Because every year, January 1st, what do I hear in the office? We have a resolution. It's resolution time. I go to the gym often. My God, the first 6 weeks of the year are such a pain in the butt. Because I have the resolutioners are there, not the revolutioners. You want to go to the gym? Go in when it's June and July. That's when the revolutioners are there, not the resolutioners. So that comes down to what? Choice. And this is what we're talking about. Put your money where your priority is, right? We have this discussion often in the office that it costs so much to eat healthy. Not if you plan your work and work your plan, it doesn't. And I can tell you where to shop and where to pick this up and where to pick that up. Breaking through the mental barriers. We have 2 dogs. I kind of like dogs. So we have a couple of, and this is the first out of the 5 essentials. Because if you own this, then the rest of the stuff is doing, right? This is planning, the rest is doing. If you fail to plan, you have what? Plan to fail, right? It's the same way with Christmas. Don't you have lists?
Not me personally.
You're not a lister.
I'm not a lister.
You're probably a lister.
I am.
This is where my wife and I have fun. I'm a lister. Write things down, budget things out, go shopping. Just get the list, right? You and I talk about that often. If I'm going to go shopping, give me a list. I'm going to get what's on the list and I'm out. I can't stand shopping. So, this is what the mental barriers. There's 3 dangers when it comes to food. Too much toxins, too much sugars, not enough good fats. We're about the age where, remember when fats became bad? It's a lie. We have a seminar in April about myths. Please attend that. And we're going to go through a lot of these different myths that we've been told about healthcare that are just simply not true. So for me, it'll be fun. And the biggest one is that fats are bad and sugars are okay. Carbs are okay. That came through in the 60s. 67 to be exact. And the sugar people were able to convince the advertisers to make the problem being fats and not sugars. So that's where that comes from. Too much sugar. Grains turn to sugars in your bloodstream. So when people say, well, it's multigrain, isn't that good? If you have health issues, avoid the grains. Revolutionize your diet. Myth versus truth. These are things. I have bad genes, so if my parents were sick, then I will suffer the same fate. Remember? Yes. What percentage is genetics in our healthcare system? 3 to 5% is genetics. But we now know something called epigenetics. Epigenetics states that your lifestyle will extend your genes or shrink your genes. In other words, your lifestyle turns your genes on or turns them off. So you may have a genetic predisposition for lung cancer. Now, if you turn around and smoke, you're turning the switch and you're making that gene expression longer when you wanted it shorter. And you could go right down the list, whether it's cancers or diabetes or depression or hypertension. You may have a predisposition for it, but how you live your life is going to turn it on or turn it off. And that is called, that's dealing with your genetics. Establish a value system. My favorite saying, I say this often, anybody that spent time with me, your actions speak so loud I can't hear what you say. Even used that today when I was talking with Jess. In other words, this is safe. Trust the science. This is perfectly safe. Oh, those are great words. Do you have any studies? No, we haven't done any studies. This is the study. Then how is it safe? Oh, just trust me. We did the science. It's perfectly safe. On what? Oh, it's on you. Your actions speak so loud I can't hear what you say. It's more evident now than we've ever seen at any time in our history. And this is why people got to wake up. They got to wake up and say, wait a minute, is that right? Is this truly, there's not a study? Well, no, there's not. Well, then what are we doing? That's my question. What are we doing? Over 90% of the diseases Americans face today are caused by lifestyle. Epigenetics. That's what we're talking about here. Set a good example and expectations. Counting calories. If you're going to eat 2,000 calories a day, on many of these weight loss systems, you can still have your cake because we're counting calories. How's that working for you? It doesn't. Okay, if calories were the issue, you know who Michael Phelps is? He's the most decorated Olympic athlete. By the way, where did you go to college? Michigan.
Michigan.
Just throwing that out there. See, I got you a smile. He eats 10 to 11,000 calories a day. Yet he's...
When he's training.
Right. Yet he's thin. So if calories were the issue, how can he eat that much? Because you cannot burn away a bad diet because he's eating quality food. The same way, it's my opinion, that if you want to lose weight, eat more. But are you going to eat things high in caloric content? No. Because I've never seen anybody come down with diabetes because they eat too much broccoli or too much spinach or some other vegetable. I've never seen that. Have you? Exactly. But if someone's eating a lot of cakes, and if someone's eating, more importantly, processed foods, that's where these things come from, because it's toxins. Counting calories is an effective way to a healthy nutrition. 22 almonds is 150 calories. One Twinkie, 150 calories. There's many weight loss systems where say that's all we're doing is counting the calories. More importantly, what's the vitamin and mineral content of these guys? And fat content. So, Jennifer, would you grab me one of those red cushions behind you, please? So this is a good example. Thank you. If this is a cell in your body, every cell has an outer membrane. It's called a double lipid bilayer. Okay? Meaning the lipids are facing each other. It creates this membrane. What's a lipid? If you cut the fat out of your diet, how is this going to be replaced? It's not. So that means that all the waste products that are inside this are going to stay inside it. And the oxygen that needs to get in, it can't get in. If a cell loses 60% of its oxygen, it will be cancerous. There's a lot of research to support that this fat is bad has caused rates of cancer to spike dramatically. So, you want good fats. a great source for good fats is almonds. So when we talk about fats, carbs, and proteins, those are called macros. And when you talk about vitamins and minerals, those are called micros. So, this has high in calories. The fat that it has in is all the bad fat. Is there any micros in there? No. What's the toxic level on those? What's crazy is to leave those unpackaged, leave them out on the shelf for how long? They don't change.
Have you seen the McDonald's like 10-year food experiments where they look the same after 10 years being left out of the
Nice. The one experiment that I did do, I took an ear of corn that was GMO, genetically modified, which they're selling everywhere, and then I took an ear of corn that was organic, and I stuck them out on my porch on nails. And I sat back for a few days. Within 8 hours, the organic ear of corn was gone. The squirrels got it. Gone. 8 days later, the other ear of corn wasn't touched.
Really?
So wait a minute. You mean to tell me that a squirrel knows what's bad and what's good, and
Squirrels know.
and yet you're trying to convince me that GMO stuff is fine? Okay. Another experiment. Put real butter in a dish. Put fake butter or margarine in a dish. Leave it out for the ants. The ants will go to the real butter. They will avoid the fake butter. Really, guys? You're trying to sell me that GMOs, all right, come on, I'm a little smarter than a squirrel. But there's enough people in the United States that it's science. You got to have some level of common sense, don't you? You have to say, that's not, we call it frankenfood. GMO food is frankenfood. And you'll probably see it on here. I use this slide a lot. Every year, Americans eat 63 pounds of high fructose corn syrup. That stuff should be on the hazmat list for your body. And 156 pounds of sugar. Both of this stuff drives your cancer. Yeah, you look at that and you're like over 200 pounds a year. That's what you consume of that stuff. And then we wonder why. How come I keep eating Twinkies and I keep my calories down but I can't lose weight? Really? I'm hungry, eat some almonds. But it's 12 o'clock at night, eat some broccoli. But it's 4 a.m. in the morning and I'm hungry, have some carrots. It's endless. It's 7 a.m. in the morning and I'm hungry. Scramble up some eggs. How many can I have? As many as you can eat. Do I separate them? Eat the damn things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Throw in some vegetables. If someone's going hungry, there's a problem. Because you're eating all the things you shouldn't. Another prime example. We've got this Rona going around, right? So, if you're doing the things that you should do throughout the year, and you get sick, you simply do more of them. You sleep a little more, you hydrate a little more, you go to your chiropractor a little more, you work out a little more, you take more vitamins and minerals, right? If you're doing the right thing, you do more of it. If you're doing the wrong thing, you're going to stop everything you're doing, including your job, and you're going to do everything that you haven't been doing. I'm going to load my body up full of prescriptions. So your body's fighting the problem, and now it's also going to be fighting the prescriptions. And now we look at our society, how's that working for us? Yeah. So again, common sense. When it comes to your health, common sense. If I were to ask you, do medications heal? Do vaccines heal?
They don't heal, no.
No.
They're preventatives.
They want to tell you that.
Symptom treatment.
Right. Because if they heal, then let's take a cup and let's fill it up with every medication and every vaccination. And then you and I, let's go in a car and go down to the morgue. We're going to do some healing. Doesn't work, does it? No, because those things don't heal. What heals is in your body. Your body will tell you that it's struggling to fight it when your symptoms get too high. Right? How many times do you hear people exposed to the flu but never get the flu? Exposed to the COVID, never getting the COVID?
I never did it.
Right. You see it often. Why? Because their bodies are functioning at a higher level. Their bodies has what it needs to fight. So when your body does get sick, it's simply telling you, hey, I need more. Right? The problem is that our system treats the symptom. Even with the vaccines, does it reduce transmission? No. Does it what does it do? It reduces the intensity. Well, so does ivermectin and zinc and vitamin C and vitamin D. What we found in our clinic, vitamin D normal levels are 30 to 100. If you're 70 or above, people don't get sick. If you're 40 or below, people are getting sick. Shoot, let's get our vitamin D up. When do you see viruses attack? Wintertime. Why? Because you're not out in the sun. It's vitamin D. This isn't rocket science. Basic stuff. I'll quit going off on tangents. Probably not. The top 10 reasons to avoid sugar. It's the primary dietary cause of obesity. It increases the acid of the body. Acid of the body is what you don't want. You want an alkaline body. It causes inflammation. By the way, what's the cause of heart disease? Not cholesterol. Inflammation. Yep. Does sugar cause inflammation? Yes. Here's a trick question. Does natural sugar cause inflammation?
I would say yes.
Yes. Sugar, does it feed cancer? Yes, we know that by a PET scan, and you're probably familiar with a PET scan. Does natural sugar feed cancer? No. Interesting. Your body is self-healing, self-regulating. Just give it whatever it needs, right? It needs more vitamin D. It needs more nerve flow. It needs more oxygen and blood flow, right?
And what do you mean by natural sugar?
Fruits.
Okay.
Now, I don't want you eating fruits past noon. Fruits are for the morning because of the high glycemic levels, right? Again, it makes sense. Primary reason for high cholesterol causes hormonal and metabolic imbalances. Are we having more and more of a hormonal problem? And what I'm going to ask you, think of when you and I were like in our 20s or teens. Did you see the obesity like we see now? Did you see the hormonal issues? No. And I know you're like 2 decades behind us, but for us older folks here.
You don't know that.
Yeah, I do. I'm pretty close to pegging where you're at. And I'm pretty sure you got about 20 behind you. Sugar is your fast track to diabetes. We all know that. Sugar is known toxin, leads to heart disease, it's an anti-nutrient, and promotes cancer. How can you say that sugar promotes cancer?
It's cancer food.
It's a cancer food, but how do we know that?
Studies.
The test in and of itself. They take radioactive isotopes, put it in a saline bag, and fill it with glucose. So that when they put it into your body, cancer loves sugar. It sucks up the sugar, the glucose. Well, you got radioactive isotopes that attach to the sugar. So then you run a PET scan. And the PET scan shows you where all the radioactive isotopes are.
Hanging out with sugar.
It's hanging out with the sugar. It's hanging out with the cancer.
Never heard that one.
The test in and of itself confirms that sugar feeds cancer. And again, we're not thinking on our feet. You see what I'm saying? We live in a society where this is what you're told is true, then you go with it. And again, I step back, how's that working for us? Well, hell, you look around now, it's not working for nobody, anywhere. So you got to pump the brakes and say, if this isn't working, I need to take a step back and say, okay, what makes sense here? Think on your feet, think for yourselves. We're starting to lose that. And as you can tell, it kind of bothers me. Is there anything worse than sugar? Yes! Splenda
Artificial sugar.
is made from sugar. No. This is what Splenda is made from. Do you know what a dimethyl fluoramide is?
Didn't sound
Are you,
good.
are you a chemist?
No.
Right, so when you start getting into these things, so when they started putting labels on food, the manufacturers got irritated by that because they don't want to tell you what's in food. So they started putting, this is what's in it. If you can't read it, you don't need to be eating it, right? What started as a sugar molecule is now a chemically named 1,6-dichloro-1,6-dideoxy-beta-D fructofuranol 4-chloro 4-deoxy alpha-D galactopyranoside.
Bless you.
Yes. Yes, it's like a cat with a hairball, right? Yes. If sugar's so bad, what can we use as a sweetener? Stevia. Right? Fat makes you fat. And you see, you can tell down here, this is the nutrient portion of the 5 essentials. That's what that logo means. So that kind of tells us where we're at, right? So you got good fats and bad fats. These are bad fats. Hydrogenated and partially hydrogenated oils. So, how does this relate to the holidays? If you're cooking, let's replace this stuff with some good stuff, some clean stuff. You'll still get almost the same taste. It may be a little different. You'll still get almost the same taste. But now you're eating something that's good for you and your body will appreciate instead of eating something that is toxic. Make sense? So when it comes to your food, we're doing this. I'm going to take this, but I'm going to give you something better. So when it comes to food, it's not that I'm taking something and you're like, that's my favorite. No, I'm taking your favorite and then I'm giving you something as a replacement, but only it's good for you. That's the difference that we're seeing. Sometimes it costs a little more. So how do you offset that?
How much does cancer treatment cost?
I haven't looked at it in a while, but I'm sure that if you looked at cancer treatments, it would be like the 5th largest economy in the world. It's that large. You know, I'm gonna make you smile before you leave.
I'm smiling. Is it not big enough? I'm sorry.
So, things like cottonseed oil, soybean oil, vegetable oils. These are trans fats, they're margarine, they're synthetic butters. You want to avoid that. You want real butter. A rancid vegetable oil is corn oil or canola. Canola stands for Canadian oil linoleic acid. It's made from a rapeseed. It's a processed oil. They don't have a canola plant. It's from a rapeseed.
You know, they originally, whenever they created that product, it was for oiling machinery.
Yes. Yes. Excellent. It was. And it also, it comes from these different, it's easier to manufacture, it's cheap. So let's focus on the good stuff. Extra virgin olive oil. Friends of ours own Olive Oil Divine. Please go in there. Please look around. They have oils and balsamics that are incredible. Please go in there. Avocados and avocado oil. Okay, so breakfast. Scramble up some eggs, take a half of an avocado, dice that thing on there. Great taste. Good fats in avocados, right? Coconut and coconut oil. Raw nuts and seeds and oils. Real butter. Raw is better. Well, I'm not supposed to have that much butter. Why? If it's real butter, if it's raw butter, if you go down to the Amish store, down yonder, they got it's just chunks, they're packaged. Awesome. Awesome. You can use a lot of real butter because it's the good fats. Now, you can't eat so much of it that it's outrageous, but it's okay to eat good fats. Raw cheese and yogurt. Okay, let's touch on meats. Meats will give you an acidic body by nature. You want your body to be alkaline. So the scale is 0 to 14. Your body functions at 7.2. It's slightly base. It's slightly alkaline. When you eat things like dark green leafy vegetables, they're going to be on the alkaline scale. When you eat things like meats, it's going to be more on the acid scale. So if you're going to eat meats, which I recommend, make them from a good, clean, organic source. And we're fortunate here. There's a lot of places to get local grass-fed beef, chicken, those types of things. Whole milks. Fish. Fish is a challenge because they can package it as free range. That simply means that the water that the fish come out of is the ocean or a lake, but they have fencing all around. So what they do is they put chickens above the fish, and they feed the chickens ground up corn, which is processed, which is bad for you, and then all the chicken waste falls into the water, and that's what the fish eat. How's that working for you right before dinner? But because it's fresh water, then they can market it as open water salmon. Once you see it for one time, your stomach will roll and tighten up in a knot, and that will be eliminated. This is the butter example. Real butter, margarine. It's like, there it is. Essential fatty acids support brain health. And this can also be said about all of our cerebral degenerative issues that we're seeing. Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, those kind of things. Have they not spiked in the last 30, 40 years? Yeah, they sure have. Remember being in high school? How many kids were overweight? Right. I mean, all of our football team, the offensive line, we had a couple guys over 200. Now, if you want to be competitive, if you don't have guys over 300 on your O-line, you're at a disadvantage. We have an issue, right? Support cardiovascular health. Good fats give you good essential fats, and your body needs that. Fat in meats causes heart disease, cancer, osteoporosis, kidney disease. Baloney. Baloney. Heart disease, inflammation. Cancer is just toxins. Why do we have so many different types of cancers? Because you're eating so many different types of garbage. If you were to go to McDonald's here and then go over to Japan and go into a McDonald's, you would think this can't be the same place. Because Japan does not allow the garbage. Here, what is it? There's a couple of burger joints that are so close, that the meat is so close to being non-human that they've been fined for it in the past.
It's not human.
It's a chain.
Not fit for human consumption.
Right. So they keep breaking down and they put animal products to the point where it's a pink sludge.
McDonald's recently lost a court case against Chef Jamie Oliver because he claimed that the food was inedible and toxic, and they lost in court. It's a $2 million settlement. You can Google it.
Didn't hear about that.
No, Google it. It's there.
Yes. So at our facility, what our goal is to educate you better about your body, what it needs, what its challenges are, and what you can do about it. Because you need to be making the choices about your health care, not your doctors. As your doctor, I'm to assess, give you the diagnostics, and then come to you and lay out what your options are. Well, the options have to be more than drugs and surgery. But they're not trained in anything but drugs and surgery. So they're not going to give you any other options. That's the problem. And that's why here we're an integrated facility. We have nurse practitioners as well as chiropractors, so we've got them from both sides of the fence. And when you come together, you benefit. That's important. Conventional meat, you have toxic bioaccumulation. And this is part of where they say meat is bad. Yeah, meat is bad if you're eating pink slime. Because it's not going to get through your GI tract, it's not going to get through your bowels, it's going to build up and create issues. If you're eating good food, the ideal ratio is 1-to-1 or 4-to-1, and in America it's 20-to-1. So these are the ratios that we've got to have for our essential fats, and we're not getting them. That's why meat's a problem. So that's why we go to our local farmers. Go to our local farmers, get your beef. Back when we were doing a lot of this stuff 6 years ago, I used to have a local farmer that would come on Friday mornings, and he would set up in the corner of the parking lot with a tent. and he had chicken and beef. And he would come in, and all my patients knew it. And he would come in every week and sell out.
That'd be
Where is he
nice.
now?
That'd be nice.
Invite him back.
Yeah, things have changed. Yeah. But that was something that we thought was a good ad. The change in animal products first. We're talking about grass-fed beef, free-range chicken. Again, the problem that we're seeing is that we're using catchphrases. So now the people that are producing bad products, they'll say, wild caught fish. Okay, what does wild caught mean? Well, it was in the ocean, but what they're not telling you is that it was fenced in and had chickens above it. You see what I'm saying?
Does it need to say lion caught?
The same way there's a big legal battle over the word organic. The people on my side wanted it to mean something. And they were using it just as a sales pitch. They were trying to manipulate the word. I'm not down with lying to people. You know, Jennifer and I have this, she's our case manager. We have this conversation all the time. You be honest, you be truthful with people, you tell them this is what your problem is, and these are your options, this is how we can help you. And then you need to decide what fits you. Whether it's a budget type thing, a time issue, whatever it is, then you need to decide. And we even talk about one of your options is surgery. But even if you have surgery, then you're going to need rehab afterwards. So why not try the rehab now, and hopefully you won't need the surgery? Wouldn't that make sense? Again, these are becoming catchphrases. Grass-fed. Okay, we'll define grass-fed. Now we have to define everything, right? Wild caught, free range. It becomes a challenge. High quality protein. Balances your blood sugar. It's a rich source of glutathione. You've got to have glutathione. Glutathione is that one micro that's going to help with your immune system to battle all the garbage. It's one of those big lines of defense. Detox. What's your number one organ that tries to detox your body? First is your skin, second is your liver. So that's why whenever we talk about detoxification, we talk about doing liver cleanses. Because your liver is what will get clogged up. Your body's defense against inflammation and free radicals. Always choose a non-denatured protein from grass-fed cows. Another myth, you need 5 to 8 servings of grain every day. You don't need one. Because once grains enter your mouth and mixes with your saliva, in your blood it becomes glucose. Well, we're having a problem with glucose in our blood, right? So, until you get healthy, stay away from grains. Then we can reintroduce some things. So this is what ancient wheat used to look like. 4 feet tall, very hardy, high in protein, 28%. Low molecular weight of gluten, which I have gluten issues, grow slowly, hardy and self-sufficient is the original source. That is what grains used to be like. Because every time I do a class, everyone says, well, I eat a 12 grain. And I said, well, grains aren't the same. Sure they are. Grain's a grain. Modern grain is shorter, it's pliable, it's been manipulated, high in gluten, cannot survive without humans. 10,000 hybridizations. Then we process it even further. What color is natural sugar?
Brown.
And then we process it. What color is wheat? Flour. Brown. Then we process it. And how do we process it? Bleach. How's that working for you? Cholesterol. We know that cholesterol does not cause heart disease, it's inflammation. Again, something straightforward. The FDA and the USDA effectively protect the general public from dangerous products. How many of you believe that the CDC is a governmental agency?
It's private.
It's private.
The largest patent holders of vaccine.
They hold over 50 patents for vaccines, including the ones that they're trying to push on us now. Yet, they're the source the source of the CDC told me what to do. The CDC tells the schools what to do. The CDC tells the townships and the cities what to do, and they listen. How can you have over 50 patents for vaccines, and yet you're telling me that I should have a vaccine? At what level does the light go off and be like, oh, that's a conflict of interest? Oh no, they know what's best for me. Anything with 3 letters, I'm not buying it. IRS, FBI, CDC, FDA. If it's got 3 letters, I'm out, except for AIM.
There's always an exception.
Gotcha. Finally.
How many times have you seen a commercial where they start off with, you may be entitled to, the chances are that product was approved by the FDA?
Yes. And there's so many medications that were approved by the FDA.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to watch a good docuseries, we talked about Dope Sick. It's on Netflix. All of that was FDA approved, and yet there was nothing behind it. There were no studies. They just told them that there were. You can't take things blindly. You have to think your way through life. Toxic foods. There it is. Frankenfoods. Pesticides. There was one study, I don't know if it's on here, where they looked at the umbilical blood of 10 newborns and found 71 chemicals, and 10 of them have been non-produced in the last 10 years.
Wow.
And they find it in the umbilical blood of infants. And you wonder why the #1 cause of death in infants is cancer. Pump the brakes. This isn't rocket science, right? You just got to look at it. It's staring at you. But you're like, well, how can that be? Because we continue to turn a blind eye and let them do what they want to do. And who pays the price? We pay the price. And we don't have enough spine to stand up to them and say, not today. Myth, eating healthy is boring, tasteless, and too hard. If you go over to Olive Oil Divine, they have at least 30 different balsamics and 30 different oils that you can add to your foods, and not only will your foods not be boring, but they'll taste better than they ever have. Just go over there and sample some of that stuff. So the core plan, right, we're just trying to get you on track. The advanced plan, we're trying to get you there faster. So for instance, when you look at the advanced plan, I'm talking about eliminating things. Eliminate sugars, grains, fruits, with the exception of berries, even healthy grains. So the advanced plan, I'm looking to get a little more radical and say just don't eat it, instead of saying let's reduce it. If you and I are going to go out there and we're going to walk to Kingsport, or we're going to get to Kingsport, the basic plan is we're going to walk there. We're going to get there, but it's going to take time. And it's probably going to make my knees hurt. Right? The advanced plan is let's just go and get in the car. Let's just cut the chase and get it done. Protein, replace conventional proteins with clean sources. In your fats, you got to add some good fats. You got to add some good fats. Foods to avoid. Processed. They're good though. Man, are they good.
And that's the problem.
Processed,
Good.
substitutes,
10% days.
trans, rancid, processed. I didn't even see that, Jen.
Yeah.
You need to take that off there.
I do, I'm sorry. And again, do label reading. Organic will allow you to pick it up and look at it. USDA approved organic. They went to court to try and manipulate, to use that word. We have to look at it a little bit further, such as ingredients: organic roasted, unblanched Valencia peanuts may contain 0.5% or less of the following: cashews, almonds, and or organic sesame seeds.
Yeah.
Okay, decent product then. Decent product. Ingredients: arachis, I can't even read that stuff.
Oh, well.
Yeah, there you go. freshly roasted peanuts, soybean oil, out. Maltodextrin, out. Icing sugar, out. Hydrogenated, I don't know what the rest is, but out. You see what I'm saying? And they could sit there and say, look folks, there's no trans fat.
Per serving.
Per serving.
Because the definition of trans fat per serving is still an amount, so they go just below it.
Yes. Does that make sense? So that's how the tricking is. And again, one of my things is just say the truth. You know? If you're going to lie to people, I don't care what your product is. If you're going to lie to people, then you should be closed. Don't lie. Speak the truth. Get the resources. This is a book that close friends of mine. I went to school with Dr. Lerner, and I did a lot of stuff with those two folks. So this is a book. It's got the simple, you can get these on Amazon as well. You can get both different plans, and it's very straightforward. This is something that we used to do. We used to, we call it Shop with Doc, only because it's corny. You know, if it's corny, you're going to remember it. But we would take a group of people shopping. So we would go to any grocery store, and as we go through, we're like, pick up the label. Is that something you want? Is it this? Is it that? And typically you want to stay on the outside of the store, because anything in the middle is where they're going to get you.
Except for that deli section, or the bakery section.
Oh, yeah. I have a real hang up with like cupcakes and cakes and cookies and pies. So I have to really limit those. Plan your meals for the week. Remember what I said? Plan your work your plan. Take a list. Keep the basics in stock. Spend more time planning than shopping. Right? And we don't do that, do we? That is my biggest hang up when it comes to food. I purposefully get so busy that when it comes to food, I'm just wanting to grab something. And I think that that's many of us. Use a pesticide guide. That is a big one. Nutritional tips, establish your why. So with most of my seminars, one of the first slides is why. Why? So if I were to ask you why, what I'm really asking you is, why do you want to get healthy? Why do you want to lose weight? Why do you want to not have joint pain? Because if you don't have a why, then the rest of the stuff is just Charlie Brown. Wah, 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 wah. Right? So if you're just starting out, then you figure out what your why is. Usually it can be your spouse and your kids. So you get that picture of your spouse and your kids, and you make copies and you post it everywhere you're at. So that you know that when you look at that picture, what should be triggering in your mind is, keep your butt on track. Stay on track. So the big thing is your why. Why do you want to come in here and do 3 months worth of rehab? And if it's because I want to play with my grandkids, which is one of my main reasons, then you need to have a picture with you and your grandkids. Because there's going to be days like, you know, I'm really not hurting that bad today. I think I'm just going to call it off. You know, I'm alright. Yeah, strike one. So you have to have a why. The second thing is, on Sundays, you have to plan for the week. You have to plan your work. If you don't plan your work for the week, it's an uphill battle every day, all week. Those are the two big things that I could tell you. The same, now how do we apply that now with the holidays? You got the holidays coming up. Plan. You can still eat all your favorite foods. Just use different ingredients. Right? Use almond flour instead of the other flour. Use real butter instead of margarine. Use real oils instead of rapeseed oils. Just switch them. That's all. Use stevia instead of sugar. So you can still do the same things. Outline the work that needs to be done. Accountability. So when we look at our 5 essentials, what was number 1? Do you remember?
Oh no. Right, mental.
Yes, mindset. If you plan to succeed or you plan to fail, the answer is yes. If you tell yourself, I will, or if you tell yourself, I won't, congratulations. How many times around here do you guys chuckle at me, but if I don't feel good or if my knees are killing me or something, it doesn't matter.
Keep on going.
You just keep going. Because I have made my mind up that this is what I'm doing. My back went out 3 weeks ago. I ended up having to put my weightlifting belt on. Why? I had to see my patients. What else am I going to do? Take a bunch of Tylenol and go home and sit on the couch? Well, that's not going to get me any further. So you do what you need to do to get your things that you need to get done. Because if you don't feel well, then you need to be doing more of those things that you typically already do. So we have nutritional products here. Vitamin D, 50,000 IUs. You take it once a week. It keeps your vitamin D levels high. Because if your vitamin D is over 70 or 80, the chances of you getting that cootie virus just wouldn't.
Is it in a capsule?
Yes. Makes sense, doesn't it?
Impressive.
Or I have it, Dr. Holly has an injectable. Because that makes sense. When you start getting older, like us, I'm just messing with you because you don't want to smile. Someone make you smile. We have hormone replacement therapy. Because we know that if you regulate your hormones, you sleep better, you have more energy, more clarity, you're more you, you're more vibrant. And there you go. And no, I have no idea what the price is. Jennifer does that.
I have no idea what the price is until I look at the price list.
Is D3 better than D2?
All day. And in some instances, you need to take your D3 with K2, potassium.
We also have ABK10 and ABK5.
And the K2's are better, right?
I've
So you
switched to
need
butter.
butter.
I've switched to butter. I don't use any margarine anymore.
Yeah. So these are the little things. January 18th.
Not for sale through Amazon.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
I love that. The 18th, we have resolutions versus revolutions. What am I going to talk about? The number one topic is going to be planning it. Plan your work. If you don't plan it, then you're going to take what comes your way. You have one life to live. Why would you ever take what just comes your way? Why wouldn't you plan to go seize the moment and go get what you deserve? I mean, really. Everything is out there for you. If you want love, if you want happiness, if you want wealth, it's out there. You just got to tap into it. But the one thing that has to change is your mindset. Right? If you want to be healthy, we did a TV show 4 years ago. It was based on The Biggest Loser. I had 5 contestants. The guy that won lost 181 pounds in 9 months. Doing this. I had to ride his butt a lot because there was times when he mentally, it was overwhelming. So you got to stop him, recalibrate his mindset, and continue to push forward. You cannot and will not exercise away a bad diet. Your diet's everything. But I'm telling you, diet, I want you to eat more. You'll get so sick of eating, you'll be like, for God's sake, I gotta eat again. I went through a few months back with one of our patients. He's a professional bodybuilder. And we went through myself, and I needed to eat 3,300 calories a day. And I tried that for 3 weeks. Not one day did I achieve 3,300. Because by 9 o'clock at night, I still haven't got there, and I was so sick and tired of eating. Sick and tired of eating. There's a different way. And you have to say to yourself, if the way that we're currently doing it in this country, which is reducing calories, medications, if that works, show me. Because I can show you thousands and millions of people it's not working for. And what's the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing
Over and over, expecting a different result. Yet we as Americans,
We're insane.
we're insane. And you can't tell me that I'm not.
Not
Right.
arguing with you.
Right. I hope this was helpful for you. Two things. When you leave here, two things. Come up with a why. Why are you going to organize your stuff? And then organize it. So, how do you organize it? First, organize what you're going to drink. You have to achieve, you have to win with what you drink. Once you win with what you drink, and it can take you one day, you can just click, water, next. Right? The next thing, you win with your breakfast. Eggs and vegetables. You can have a bowl of berries. When you win with what you drink, when you win with your breakfast, what's next? Lunch. You can have a salad, assortment of vegetables, oils and vinegars. That's an easy one. Once you win with your drinks, your breakfast, your lunch, what's next? Dinner. Have a good solid natural organic protein, a big plate of vegetables, and a little bit of carbs. Don't go on to the next one until you win at the first one. It's all about adding wins. That's what it's all about. So, we have resolutions versus revolutions. March 1st, we're talking about springing forward. It's a lot of the same information. Because if you're doing things that you should be doing, you simply hit repeat or salt. Same as last time. Right? If I'm getting enough sleep and I'm getting adjusted like I should and I'm exercising and I'm managing my stress and I'm eating clean, if I'm doing all the things that I should be doing and I still get sick, my first thought is I'd be taking vitamin D. I'd be cranking that through the roof. Zinc, vitamin C. But if you do get sick, then you do more of it. You sleep a little more, you take a cat nap, you drink a little more water, you increase your vitamins, your vitamin D, your C, your zinc, your ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, you increase that stuff, right? And within a week, it's gone. This isn't rocket science. You just need to know how to make your body run right. If you were to buy a brand new car, why would you change oil?
Because you don't want to buy another new car?
Preventative maintenance.
You can get a new car. Can you get a new body? Your body is two things. Your body is your vehicle to get through life. If you were to ask me, Doc, where am I in my body? Where am I? I'm in that 6 inches between my ears. How do I know that? Because if I lost an arm, am I still me? Best one, if I had a heart transplant, am I still me? So the only thing you can't lose is your brain, because that's you. So the rest of it is your vehicle to get through life. So your body is your vehicle, and you only get one vehicle. And this is why, when we do our upcoming commercial series, and we talk about your engine light, and you're going to see that coming out in January, February. When your engine light comes on your car, what do you do and why is it coming on? Your engine light is your symptom light, right? It's saying, hey, got a problem over here. It doesn't tell you what the problem is, does it? Just, hey, I got a problem. But you know what we do in healthcare? Hang on a minute, give me that light. All right, Joy, we're good. Light's gone.
That's drugs. That's drugs and surgery.
That's drugs. The engine blows up because you didn't change the darn oil, because you used a marker, right? That's surgery. Just take that one out, give me another one. I know it's expensive, but just give me another one. That's surgery, that's joint replacement, that's organ replacement. Nothing is as good as the original. Take care of the damn thing. But we're more willing to take care of our house, our cars, our kids, than we are ourselves.
Don't have kids, but got a little puppy dog. Take care of her.
Mm-hmm. The best one, my daughter is a 2-time national equestrian champion with horses in college. So I go out to her barn and we adjust the horses, right? And there's a few horses out there that their owners are prominent attorneys and physicians in our community. And they'll pay $70,000 for a horse, for little Susie to ride, right? And it cracks me up because they'll have the chiropractor come out twice a month and spend $125 each time to adjust that horse.
But they won't pay for their own chiropractor appointments.
We don't believe in it. Are you kidding me? The level of stupidity will never cease to amaze you. Do you have any questions?
Where can I get the vitamin D?
Jennifer.